very good afternoon to all present. I, Sonali Srivastav, welcome you all to day 3 of National Research Workshop on exploring the interplay between media and information literacy and sustainable development goals. Organized by School of Journalism and New Media Studies at Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. We have research scholars and academicians from all across the country gathered here for this workshop. Today, we are here for a panel discussion to understand media and information literacy. With me on the panel are Professor Jagtar Singh, Professor, Punjabi University. He is one of the editors of UNESCO's Media and Literacy Yearbooks 2015 and 16. We also have Ms. Udita Chaturvedi with us. She is a communication manager at Digital Empowerment Foundation. Very warm welcome to both of you. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. And Professor Singh, can we start with you about your inputs on the topic?
Yes, please. Thank you. I'm going to speak on this topic, understanding media and information literacy. Previously, there were two different concepts, information literacy and media literacy. But now UNESCO is promoting media and information literacy as a composite concept because there is a little bit overlapping between the two competencies. See, when you are in a panel discussion, why you keep silent? Because you are not sure about your perception. You are afraid that perhaps what I say may be wrong. So participation can be by competent people only. So when we are trying to understand media and information literacy, first of all, we should have conceptual access. When we talk of access, we can categorize it into 4 categories. First, it is bibliographical access. That means what is available, where it is located, and how to get it. Just like a letter, postal letter, what is outside address, that is the metadata. And what is inside the letter, that is the content. So bibliographical details of the documents, whether these are printed publication or digital documents. First of all, we must know what is available, where it is located, and how to get it or how to access it. So second type of access is physical access. If I know that something is available in the library or on the internet, I must get it into my hands. So that is physical access. If I know that something is available, but I do not get it, it means my problems are increasing. I must lay hands on that information. And then third category is language access. If I do not know the language, I can read Punjabi, Hindi or English, but beyond that I am illiterate. I do not have language access, so translation is the mechanism to improve access into various languages. So localization and globalization can take place only when the local content is translated into a lingua franca or English language. So that way you can go to the majority. And final is the intellectual access. Intellectual access, that do we understand the meaning? Are we able to decode the meaning? Fake news, misinformation and disinformation. So we must know what is the difference between the concepts. UNESCO doesn't use this fake news term. Fake news means false story. I told you that media is controlled by corporate sectors, governments, and politicians. So they have motive. They plant stories with a motive. And the consumers want to find out the truth. Today we are not consumers, we are prosumers. We have social media. So we are consuming the content, we are using the content, as well as we are producing the content. And we have the real-time access to information. Supposing something is happening, you can immediately make the video and upload on the YouTube. So that is your consumers and your producer. Similarly, timely access, real-time access. Something is happening, and with the help of these technologies, we can have access to that information. So technology is basically value neutral. So how we are going to choose that technology, that depends upon our motive or our value system, our ethics and aesthetics. So to construct reality or to decode the truth behind the story, you must be media and information literate. Now, before what we mean by media, we are talking of understanding media and information literacy. First, the concept of media should be clear. So, general perception is media means the book can be media, radio can be media, TV can be media, social media, internet can be media, from wherever the information is coming. First of all, let me explode the myth that these channels are not the only source of information. When you are crossing the road, you are not getting information from the channels. You look towards your left and then to right, then you make decision whether to cross the road or not to cross the road. So information, basic domain of information is to make decisions. The quality of decision is dependent upon the quality of information. So to improve the quality of information, you must be media and information literate. So media, I divide into two categories. First is this mainstream media, radio, television, book, social media, internet, like that. And then social media, which is in your hands. You have many applications on the mobile phone, and technology has given death blow to the traditional constraints of space and time. Now information is available to anyone, anywhere, anytime, provided you are able to pay for that information and are competent to access that. So other dimension of media is formats. Traditionally there was book or newspaper, but now information is coming in very formats. So you should be able to decode information from those formats. So that is the basic concept of media. So media, mainstream media, media controlled, commercial media controlled by these vested interests, politicians, governments, and corporations, corporate sectors. So you are to decode truth from that. Now information. I want to also explore the myth about information. Knowledge. We think that what is available in the libraries, that is knowledge. What is available in the libraries, that is information. What is available on the internet, that is information. My own understanding is that's neither knowledge nor information. That is simply content on the external memory. And when there is interaction between you and that content, then it becomes information. And information is raw material for the knowledge and wisdom, common sense. George Bernard Shaw has said, common sense is never common because we are individuals, we have different knowledge, skills, competence, value system, and our common sense is also different. So the domain of information is to facilitate decision making, and domain of knowledge is problem solving. If somebody is having disease, there is a problem. Library will not help. Internet may help to some extent. You can get basic information. And ultimately you will have to go to the specialist. So basic knowledge is with that specialist. His experience, his knowledge, his attitude, that makes the difference. If something is wrong with your car, you will have to take it to the garage. Something is wrong with your sewerage system, you will have to call the plumber. So knowledge is there. If you want to have food, somebody is to cook that food. The person, whether literate or illiterate, that cooks the food, good food, that person is a learned person. So education is a top-down system and learning is a bottom-up system. And learning is a lifelong process. UNESCO in its report, Learning the Treasure Within, has said 4 dimensions of learning. Learning to know. It means you must have thorough knowledge of your subject domain, your area of interest. Learning to do, you should have skills to do that work. And then learning to be, for me that is most important pillar of learning. Because choice is with you. You want to be a good speaker, you want to be a bad speaker. You want to be a good teacher, you want to be a bad teacher. You want to be a good husband, you want to be a bad husband. So in 16th century, William Shakespeare has said, to be or not to be is the real issue. So that we are facing in the 21st century also. And last pillar is learning to live together. India is a composite culture. India is a pluralistic country. So respect for difference of opinion is most important. For that, UNESCO and Media and Information Literacy is promoting intercultural dialogue. We have a research network that is Media and Information Literacy and International Intercultural Dialogue. So, to facilitate otherwise you see there is a lot of intolerance and radicalization, violent extremism, internet trolling for the women. So media and information literacy can empower the women. How to check all that, how to be bold, how to face these situations at home and at work. So media and information literacy builds competence among you and confidence among you. So similarly, literacy, traditional is reading, writing and arithmetic ability. Now you put any context on the left side, it becomes domain specific literacy. You put information, it will become information literacy. You put media and information, it becomes media and information literacy. You put legal, it becomes legal information literacy. You put health, it becomes health literacy, health information literacy. So that way on the left side is the context. Basically we were talking of content and conduit, but ignoring the context. I think it is the context which is more important. What is the context of this workshop? Capacity building is the context of this workshop. And what is the focus of capacity building? That is to ensure abilities to access information, to express yourself, and to participate in democratic debates, voting. If you say the government is not doing good governance, corruption is there, discrimination is there, discretion is there, why? Because we are not participating. You will not go for voting, illiterate and poor people will go, they will elect on the basis of subsidies or what facilities they are getting. So जैसा दूध होगा वैसी मलाई आएगी, जैसा वोटर होगा वैसा ही मतलब जो आपके लीडर होंगे. So change. If you want to lead change or follow change, you will have to be media and information literate. So there is no place for the grumbling people. Lead, follow or quit. Grumbling से काम नहीं चलेगा. Either you will have to lead change or you will have to follow change. Or always you cannot lead, always you cannot follow. So media and information literacy develops that competence. And also we were talking of gaps and divides. In your brochure it is written, there is a big hiatus between rural and the urban people. We are talking of smart cities. What about smart citizens? But why we are not focusing on competent people? So there is a problem. On the one people they have competent and will to do something. On the other side people have infrastructure, may not be having the will and skill. So there should be global partnership. So it has also milled unit win. I request all of you, kindly, when you have time, you see the UNESCO Mill Toolkit. It has Mill curriculum for teachers and trainers. It has policy and strategy guidelines. It has Mill framework. It has Mill indicators. Similarly, it is publishing a Milled yearbook. And I have been the editor of Milled yearbook for 2 years. And if you download the PDF of this Milled yearbook 2015, it is specifically on media and information literacy for the sustainable development goals. You will get all the information. It is freely available. Simply type Milled yearbook 2015. And I was the lead editor. And it is published by Nordicom. Second yearbook is published by the UNESCO. You can see. And then it has Mill MOOC. Mill MOOC is massive online open course. If you can join this course free of any fee. And once you audit this course, you will get a UNESCO certificate that you are media and information literate. You are not to pay anything. Similarly, Mill Clicks, it has a program. If you type Mill Clicks, you will get lot of information. So UNESCO is doing, when you are talking of research proposal, what are the sustainable development goals, what media and information literacy can do to obtain these goals, and what government of India is doing. If you make a search on the Google, Government of India response to the 17 development goals, you will get a lot of information. It has 9 pillars of digital inclusion. So now, by now, I have tried to clear the concept of media, information, and literacy, and I have also told you that put anything on the left context, it becomes domain-specific literacy. Now, why one should be media and information literate? Because people have motive, politicians have motive, corporate sector has motive, government has motive, and we want to know the truth. And that truth is only possible when you are media and information literate. Now, who is a media and information literate person? First of all, a media and information literate person must know what is his information need. We have defined information and information need. What is information need? It is a gap in your tacit knowledge base. जब तक वो गैप भरेगा नहीं, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू मेक एनी डिसीजन. अगर मेरे को ये नहीं पता हु इज द वाइस चांसलर ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्सिटी, समबॉडी टेल्स मी दिस इज द नेम ऑफ द वाइस चांसलर, दैट गैप हैज बीन प्लग्ड इन एंड माय इंफॉर्मेशन नीड इज फिनिश्ड. If I have headache, I want to know where is the health center. Somebody tells me, I go to the doctor and my headache is over. So information need is a gap in your knowledge base. So media and information literate person must know his need. Then he must know about the various sources of information. From where? Sources can be human sources, documentary sources, non-documentary sources, or even sites. If you want, you go to the site and get the actual information. Where was Nalanda University? Where was Texla University? And what happened to them? We are talking of history. What is history? What is past? It is simply recording, either on the documents or in your mind. And why we want to study history? Because we don't want to repeat the mistakes. And we want to build the sustainable. When we are saying sustainable development, it means sustainable development goals are 17 global challenges, global goals. We are to address it. And media and information literacy is the best strategy for this, addressing these global challenges. After sources of information, he should be able to retrieve that, access and locate information and retrieve information. After retrieving that information, he should be able to take control of that information by organizing. Many participants were asking, who is media and information literate? I am telling you should be able to define your information need, know about the sources of information, locate information, retrieve that information, and organize that information. Evaluate that information. Because information is not always, see, fact is a sacred cow. Comment is free. Anybody can say anything. Opinion. We are not to go by the opinion. We are not to go by the biases. We are not to go by the propaganda. We need the facts. When facts are with you, when accurate quality information is with you, then your decisions will be quality. Let me conclude. So media and information literate person is who is able to define the information need, knows about various sources of information, can locate and retrieve information, can evaluate information, and can organize, reorganize that information, use that information ethically and legally. If you are able to do that, you are media and information literate. Otherwise, you can be at one level literate. You simply know your need but do not know from where to get the information and how to organize this information and how to use that information to obtain your personal, professional, educational and social goals plus these 17 sustainable development goals. Thank you very much.
Coming to Ms. Chaturvedi, I would like to know that how do these concepts translate when you talk about groundwork?
So just to give a little perspective on why information literacy is required, where communities don't have access to proper food and shelter, would be, I'll give you an example. अगर किसी को information access करने जाना है, उसके गाँव it's in a last mile access area where there's not enough information services provided. Or let's take the example of a photocopy. For you and me, it's very easy to step out, go to the corner of a road and get a photocopy in rupee 1. For a poor person where there is no access to information services or digital services, it costs that person 250 rupees. And why it costs that person 250 rupees is because अगर उसको नियर बाय गाँव में जाना है नियर बाय बड़े थोड़े गाँव में जाना है या टाउन में जाना है फ़ोटोकॉपी कराने के लिए या एक पंचायत घर तक भी जाना है तो वो गाँव पंचायत गाँव उसके गाँव से थोड़ा दूर है. उसको जाने के लिए अपनी एक दिन की दहाड़ी छोड़ रहा है वो इंसान, फिर वो ट्रैवल कर रहा है तो कम्यूटिंग चार्जेस दे रहा है. even to get a photocopy in a slightly bigger town, a bigger village than where he comes from or she comes from, the cost of running a photocopying machine for that entrepreneur is also higher because ROI नहीं है. तो वो instead of asking for ₹1 per photocopy, that person asks for ₹5 or ₹10. तो हम ये नहीं समझते कि जब वो एक्सेस गायब है उस गाँव में तो वो कितना ज़्यादा उसके लिए कॉस्ट कर रहा है. फॉर यू एंड मी इट्स जस्ट ₹1. तो जब हम वो इन्फॉर्मेशन सर्विसेज उनके गाँव में देते हैं, वो सारी डिजिटल सर्विसेज उनके गाँव में देते हैं, वी आर हेल्पिंग देम सेव ऑलमोस्ट ₹250 a day. And in a household, in a village community, a household means easily 4 to 6 people, with one earning member usually. So it's very important, like Professor has already explained very well all the needs and necessities of the MIL education that we require today. I think for me, I don't even see sometimes relevance of teaching a student in a government school in a far-fetched area where शायद उसको कोई access नहीं है बहुत सारी चीज़ों का कि what is the logic of teaching them Newton's law और algebra, जब उसको ये सिखाना चाहिए कि वो कैसे online जाके government scheme apply कर सकता है. The government has already created like a plethora of government schemes and entitlements, but they are not accessible. या तो फिर exploitative middlemen है या education नहीं है to access that information. So rather, if we turn around our education in a way where they can access the content, as he rightly said, to consume it in a way, in a fashion where it is information for them and it can empower the communities, that is very important. So Digital Empowerment Foundation, the organization that I'm representing, we've designed a curriculum for digital literacy and MIL in a way where we incorporate all of this. अगर हम उन्हें वर्ड सिखा रहे हैं तो सिर्फ टाइपिंग करने के लिए नहीं सिखा रहे हैं, हम उन्हें सिखा रहे हैं कि आप अपना कैसे, अगर आपको रेज्यूमे बनाना है, कभी आपको बाहर नौकरी करनी है 12th के बाद, तो आप कैसे रेज्यूमे बना सकते हो. अगर हम आपको कैंपेनिंग करना सिखा रहे हैं, फेसबुक यूज़ करना सिखा रहे हैं, तो हम पोस्ट करने के लिए या सोशल इंटरेक्शंस के लिए नहीं नेसेसरली सिखा रहे हैं. वी टीच देम कि आप कैंपेन कैसे करोगे, आपकी सोसाइटी में, आपकी कम्युनिटी में क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, एंड वी डू अ हैंड्स ऑन ऑल ऑफ दीज. सिर्फ फेसबुक को इस्तेमाल करके नहीं कि आप अच्छा बनाओ, वी सिट डाउन फॉर देम विद 2-hour सेशन, डू अच्छा प्लान अ कैंपेन फॉर योर सेल्फ. सो वी यूज़ दैट काइंड ऑफ अप्रोच. इवन व्हेन वी टीचिंग देम YouTube for that matter, there's so much of content available. Somebody is using it for learning, somebody is using it for teaching somebody else, somebody is just using it for the entertainment purpose. But हम उनके साथ जब बैठते सिखाने के लिए तो बताते हैं कि अगर आप ये गाना सुन रहे हो तो are you understanding the lyrics? If you're reading a comic book, are you understanding why is a certain superwoman dressed in a certain way? So again, we play a lot when we're teaching them, giving them access to the internet, which is sort of almost infinite content. How do you perceive that information goes into our curriculum? DEF has been working for the last 15 years thinking that जो अभी 70% of India is offline, they're not consumers of information. They don't have to go as consumers. They have to go as producers of information. Most of the content that is available online today is in English because urban English-speaking audiences are online. अगर 70% ऑफलाइन है, अगर वो जाएंगे अपनी रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस के साथ जाएंगे, इमेजिन द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट दैट इंडिया हैज़ द एबिलिटी टू पुट ऑनलाइन. इज सो मच दैट वी हैव दैट रूरल कम्युनिटीज होल्ड विच इज़ नॉट अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन. एंड आई जस्ट शेयर वन एग्जांपल बिकॉज वी रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑन टाइम ऑल्सो. मुजफ्फरनगर में एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक गाँव में हमने कंप्यूटर दिया और एक आदमी को कंप्यूटर बहुत अच्छे से वहाँ पर चलाना आ गया था. तो उसने हमारे साथ 1 साल तक हमारे साथ पहले 3 महीने का कोर्स किया, फिर वो अपना रोज़ प्रैक्टिस करने आता था. दिस वाज अ मैन अबाउट 30-35 years of age. And then in about 2nd year of our working in that village, he went to a nearby village with his one laptop computer and he sat down and he said कि जिनके नरेगा के अंदर जिनको पैसे नहीं मिले हैं, आप वो लोग यहाँ पर आएँ. So interestingly, in that village, the men have a major problem of being drunk all the time. So it's the women who are working usually. तो अगले 1 हफ्ते तक वो वहाँ पे कैंप करा था, वहीं खाना पीना उसका सारा चला. And 400 women from that village and nearby village used to come to him every day अपना रिकॉर्ड लेके कि मैंने नरेगा में 100 दिन काम किया तो मुझे 80 दिन का पैसा मिला है. Interestingly, all the government information is available online, but unfortunately it's available in a fashion that not everybody can access it. So for that reason, there was this one particular who knew how to use the computer, वो सबके रिकॉर्ड मैच करके वहाँ पे निकाला था, उनके अटेंडेंस का रिकॉर्ड निकाला था, प्रिंट आउट दे रहा था और वापस उन औरतों को दे रहा था. Then these women went to the local authorities and said, I have proof that I worked for 100 days, my attendance is on your website, why have I received a bank account statement that says I've only been paid for 80? That is the power of information. One woman could help 400 women over a period of 1 week. Now imagine if every village, every community has that access. It's just unimaginable kind of impact that we can create.
Okay, with so much of food for thought, we would like to end the discussion. Thank you, Professor Singh. Thank you, Ms. Chaturvedi. Thank you to all the participants here. Thank you.